Hey guys, welcome to Positional Training chess video. Today I'm gonna try to show you a chess game that I find instructional, simply positionally. Well, I decided to create this channel for a couple reasons, and one of them obviously to improve my own positional chess and also to help you guys with it, since there is a lot of tools for tactics training and not enough resources for positional chess. Hopefully this channel will help you to improve. So don't forget to subscribe, because I will be making future videos about positional chess. So let's get in it. First thing first, I'm gonna go to the position that I assume gets really positional, right? So standard moves, I'm just gonna go through them quickly. Some inaccuracies were made, some mistakes, but it's 1600 rated 10-minute chess game. So yeah, it's not perfect obviously. And over here I played queen d4, queen a4, excuse me, with the idea if they take I get the rook. Computer shows it as a mistake. Well, I guess they can just get my queen, but in the game I took the rook as I planned, and now they trapped my queen. But there's a mistake, and well, I think it's a mistake. Maybe best was with the bishop. Oh no, but then the knight hangs. So that's tricky. So shows plus 3.5 for white. So I'm gonna go to my positional part. Well, developing move and bishop out. Yeah, the bishop move was inaccurate. Let's go back, because right now my queen does nothing. It's quite dead piece, and that's sad for white. And since this bishop moved, I can now happily trade queens, and also they cannot castle anymore, so that's good for me. And here I take out their bishop, so pawn takes, and this is where it gets positional. So look at my pawn structure. Let's say white's pawn structure. It's solid, and black has 3 pawn islands, and obviously 3 I said triple pawns. Yes, it's not bad if you look like this. It's a nice centipede, coming downtown. But also it is a big weakness for black. So I was pretty happy to give up my dark square bishop for theirs. And okay, next move I played knight to d2. So they did random move. Honestly, I don't know the reason. Maybe the reason they'd like to prevent me from coming knight g5 and then fork their king and rook. That I wouldn't have time for that anyways. Let me just defend. Alright, and here you can pause the video and try to find the move I played in the game. And assuming you did pause video, and now let's see what I played and before. So I took my time here, as I was thinking about how to exploit this weakness, right? And from now on, black's pain just starts. Because material wise, okay, looks like white's up 2, and also white's development is better. So let's continue. Black tries to do something in the center. Alright, well, white's idea is just to hit the bishop. Knight d4 was the best, because a lot of activity, but 10 minutes in a chess game, so yeah, bishop retreats. Well, I decided to hit that bishop again. That actually gives up a pawn. And whoa, rook g1 is a mistake. So that's tricky. Yeah, well, obviously this knight move would be better, because they couldn't take, because if rook is on a h1, that kind of, yeah, the pawn is pinned. So pawn comes down, rook c1, so controlling open file. And I'd like to mention, not only those triple pawns were really bad in the game, also the knight. So where can it go, guys? they're blocking their own square, so my pawn is covering c6, and the only way to get the knight in life is c8 and kind of try to e7, getting it back in the game, but it's a long journey. And okay, so let's continue. Black with a knight f6. So finally I played the move computer was suggesting to me like 10 moves ago. Knight to d4. Rook in the middle, so pawn is now pinned. Have to be careful. I cannot take anything, so that means this guy is undefended in case knight takes. I cannot recapture because rook pin. Okay, moving on. I hit the bishop. Bishop moves. That's a mistake actually. Computer shows it, and the reasons might be that I can just take this guy. Well, I could take it anyways. What else? Why is it a mistake? Maybe because of rook g3. Okay, so king up. Also, computer shows a mistake. So rook g8. Alright, so finally I played that rook up, and the computer says it's inaccurate. So better was g5. Alright, let's move on. Bishop back. So finally they played computer move, and I decided to double my rooks. So a lot of pressure to g pawn. So they push pawn, and the computer says I should have taken it. I decided to be sneaky because my idea was rook g6 and I take the knight. If they take back, I get a rook. So far so good. Moving on, knight jumps to h5. Also, oh actually, oh it's excellent. Oh yeah, well it defends. It holds stuff together, right? Okay, so I get a pawn, and also bishop now is pinned, so it cannot move. That means my knight has a free square. Alright, so some mistakes were made. Now there's a check, and the check is actually deadly because knight can take the knight, pawn takes back, and this bishop is hanging, so nothing can defend it. I can capture with a pawn, I can capture with the rook with a check, and then start gobbling all the pawns. So you can see those 3 pawns and the knight stuck in the corner is really positionally. I cannot imagine proper word for that. In easier words, it's just sad, hopeless. So trying to get out of the pin, I give a little check. Well, over here I could just take this guy, right? I would lose my rook, so I decided a bishop and a knight for my rook sounds good for me, right? So chop, chop, chop. So they strike for my knight. I actually played g5, and the computer says it's excellent move. That's very good. Giving up pawn. So basically everything's bad for black now. Computer says finally let's bring the knight in the game, but no, they just did a king move. So rook g1, pawn push. Let's just gobble up the pawn, and I took with the rook for 2 reasons. First, I invite him to take my rook, so we trade down. Since I'm up in material, it's good for me. And second, if I take with a pawn, it's another isolated pawn, so it would be harder to defend it. So chop, 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 and now kings try to get centralized. They finally bring the knight somewhere closer in the game or further from the game. I'm not sure, guys. So now it's all about technique. I'm just gonna go through, just trying to cut this video a little bit shorter. As you can see, black's still suffering with those pawns, and I try not to push my a pawn for a reason. They would open up, and not only now, but 20 moves ago as well. So now it's just about technique. My idea was just to get rid of their knight, and it's a super easy win for us. So they're trying to cause some problems for us, but As you can see, it's not for long. Some best moves were made actually, some mistakes were made. A lot of best moves, I like that. And as you can see, still 4 minutes on clock for both players. So over here idea is if they take, I get queen, because knight is now guarding the queen's square. So they just decided to give up the knight. I think better was just here, but it wouldn't help much anyways. And here just a technique. So you can pause the video if you want and try to find a checkmate in 2. Yes, I see checkmate in 2. So one move for white. Black has to go down, right? Let's say white does something random, yeah. And then it's checkmate here. But I decided to get a little bit fancy, so like so, because I wanted to take their pawn with the checkmate. So yeah, let's go back a little bit. Let me see which move was it. Obviously a lot of shenanigans in this game. Okay, so yeah, move 13, and they have triple pawns, and they suffered until the move 55. Also the knight was miserable the entire game. As you can see, b4 was positionally excellent. Computer agrees with me. And let's see, did I take a lot of time thinking about it? Wow, only 2 seconds. Well, maybe I thought about it before I played my knight to d2. I didn't play before earlier because over here I was a little bit afraid of takes, and I would have double pawns as well. But my rook could exploit b-file, so I think it wouldn't be that bad. I took care of it like so, and yeah, there we go. This is just crazy. Alright guys, I hope you find this video instructional. If you think I have some improvements to make, let me know in the comment section. Also, I will be adding a webcam soon enough, so don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video.